The following is a presentation of the Rowan Television Network.
Live from Holiday Ice Arena, we have the Rowan Profs facing the Penn State Nittany Lions. Hello everyone and a pleasant good evening. I'm Tom Snapley. Alongside me is my play-by-play man. You know him, you love him, Cody Decker. We'll get to Cody in just a second. Coming off a doubleheader here at the Rowan Television Network. Cody was on the call for the Bryn Athyn game, for the D3 game. So Cody, before we get to this D2 matchup of Penn State and Rowan, what'd you see in the Bryn Athyn Rowan game? Give us a quick little recap.
6-1 loss for the Rowan Profs. They dropped to 5-1 overall, and really Bryn Athyn just came out very strong. Rowan, having not played for 2 weeks due to 3 postponements in division games, it was definitely hard on the team today. You know, they came out fighting. They just couldn't get the shots on goal. Bryn Athyn had nearly double their shots on goal total. I believe it was 48-25 the final in Bryn Athyn's favor in the shots on goal battle. So that game, Rowan falling 5-1, but look to rebound tomorrow at East Stroudsburg University.
Well, Rowan having their game canceled yesterday against the University of Maryland, maybe a little fresher than this Penn State team, who versus Rider last night won in overtime 4-3 with 2 seconds left. Talking to Coach Caulfield for the game, you know, small part of him wanted them to lose to maybe or maybe to win big, he said. So they kind of say, oh, you know, we won against Riders and we'll take care of Rowan, and come out with not executing their game plan. Unfortunately, though, Rider fought them hard, so Penn State's going to come back hard today. You look at Penn State and you look in the MAC North standings right now. Rowan is in first place with the 2-1 record. Penn State is in fourth place with only a 1-0 record. So Rowan, being the beneficiary of playing more games, winning the games, is first place. But again, that could all change if Penn State were to win today. Looking at Penn State and Rowan, again, Penn State's overall record 10-3-0. Rowan 7-2-0. Rowan at home is 2-2. Penn State is 5-1-0. Penn State scoring 65 goals on the year while only giving up 25, opposed to Rowan's scoring 37, giving up 33. So obviously the gap is wider. Penn State scores more and they give up less. If you want to get into deep numbers in the game right now, Penn State is scoring 5.4 goals a game to Rowan's 4.1. Giving up goals per game, Penn State's only giving up 2 to Rowan's 3.6. Rowan at home giving up 5.25 goals. Now that stat's a little inflated because of the William Patterson game, but they are scoring 3.5. Penn State on the road is scoring 5.7 and only giving up 2. That's a lot of numbers I just threw at you, Cody, but what do they mean to you?
Quite honestly, this early in the season with the MAC reshaped, I don't know how much the numbers are going to be, because I honestly don't believe this Penn State team lost a lot of guys last season. They're probably a different team. Rowan is also a different team this season with a little bit different alignment, but there's a lot of key players that go into this game. So far this season, Robert Wilworth is one of them for Rowan, along with Alex Polis. Newcomer Sam Meyer has been coming along. And of course, the name that stands out in my mind for Penn State is Ryan Urban. For Penn State, he has 9 goals and 7 assists on the season. According to the numbers before last night's game, 16 points. So there's a lot of big names in this game. Obviously, Penn State this season is looking to bounce off the shocker that Rider gave them at the MAC tournament the year before. They've been doing well thus far. It's just like the last game with D3. This was a division game. This is also a division game. And Rowan is going to need to come out strong and defend against a tough Penn State team.
And for Penn State, looking at them, just looking at all their games, they won by 4, lost, won by 2. But before I finish this stat, we're going to pause for the national anthem to honor America. national anthem. So nice to hear the national anthem. Great country we live in, and we're able to bring you this edition of Rowan Hockey again. Let's just look at Penn State's last 8 games. They won by 6, by 8, by 6, by 5, by 6, until they lost by 2, won by 6, and won by 1. Penn State team likes to score, and they like to score a lot. Rowan's games have been closer. They won by 3 and 2, lost and won, respectively, by 1. Then had the bad William Patterson game, and they lost by 9. Then they won by 4, 1, and 3. On a little bit of a hot streak here, but again, Penn State likes to score a lot. If you look at the rankings period, I know it's very early, but in the Southeast, Penn State is 4th in the rankings to Rowan's 11th. Maryland is 10 in the rankings. Rowan and Maryland was supposed to face off yesterday, but again, due to bad ice conditions, that game did not happen. But we are set here for Profs Ice Hockey. You have that line of Polis, Meyer, Nikolai, defensive pairs. Andrew Doherty and Nick Fowler. For Penn State, Francis Forney, Knolan Swerdowski, Voigt Demeester, Kyle Less, Joe Benalzi are your forwards and defensive pairs. Matthew Elcherman in goal, and his stats on the season are he's 3 and 2 with a 2.4 goals against average per game, .933 in net. Cody Riley in net. Riley is 9 and 2, 3.35 goals against average with an .893 save percentage. So, again, got the pregame stats, got the lineups, got the puck drop. Actually got our first stoppage in play. And again, underway, just about 35 seconds into this one. And Penn State brings up the puck, poke checked away by Fowler. And in the midst of a change, you see on the ice trying to pursue that puck for Penn State is Ryan Urban, the captain. 9 goals on the season, as Cody said. 7 assists, 16 points. Not on the first line, opting to get him in on the second line. This is Robert Wilworth, who will be playing a key in this game. In these big games, he likes to be emotional, likes to be fiery, but he has to keep him in check if Rowan wants to have a chance against Penn State today. Morelli putting the check on there. That was on Jake O'Donnell. And a shot into Riley's glove, but he couldn't squeeze it. Trying to poke it forward to McGahee. Penn State is offsides. They will have to reset. McGahee sends it in, and Rowan will change. Taken now behind the cage are the Nittany Lions. To the stick of Keller. Keller sends it in. Shot on goal. Couldn't be corralled, but ends up being corralled. And we have a stoppage in play. 18-18 left on the clock in this one in the first period.
We're off to an action-packed start, and Penn State had a couple of chances to stuff the puck in down their end, but Rowan right there in transition fires a shot on net. Really, Rowan is going to have to do well offensively, as off the face-off, there was a good shot there.
And again, talking with Alex Polis after some previous games, alluding to the tough matchups he had going forward, was referring to the Maryland and the Penn State game, says they have to pepper the goalies. For those of you maybe not enriched in hockey knowledge, that's saying really get shots and get them on goal. You put the puck on net, good things will happen. You can't give him the easy ones where it's just in his breadbasket, in his stomach the whole time. If you keep laying the goalies on with shots, eventually it's going to go in. Rowan seems like they're doing just that in the beginning of the game. That being said, though, it is the beginning of the game, and there's still a lot of hockey to be played and a lot that can be figured out on both sides. As you see Quigley with a backhand pass. He was looking for Corey Geringer. And just out of the reach of a Nittany line, McEwen battling for it down with Stingley. McEwen and Stingley again, first one's there. Trying to help him is Petty. And whistle blows. 17-14 left. And Cody, honestly, I don't know. We don't have a stat on this. It may be one of the first times we saw a puck in the corner not get wrestled out and also get blown dead.
Yeah, very interesting. We usually see pucks out of play here. We usually see, goalies covering it up to stop plays, but never really anything in the corner. Usually those scrums are played out. Someone comes out with the puck. Not the case on that instance.
And sending it in, giving chase is Quigley, but getting there first was Peter Kaz. That's Quigley, and that's Volpio. And that's Kaz. Petty sending it down ice. It was touched up. McEwen trips. Did not get a trim call. Behind the cage now is Demeester. That is Lees. Back to Demeester. Cross ice pass. Doherty trying to stop it. Gets a good bounce and sends it in. We know Rowan loves that chip and chase play, but they look like they're going to try to do it a little faster today. Penn State, we know, is a physical team. And that's Meyer. Referee having to get out of the way. Centers it for Polis. Towards the top of the slot. Tries to backhand it towards the goaltender, but it was blocked away. Stealing it back. That's Polis. That's Volpio. Shot, and it's blocked. Volpio trying to get to the front of the net. It's Polis now. Pass to Fowler. Fowler shot. Looking for a deflection was Nikolai, but could not get one. Taken now. Penn State trying to clear. Rowan doing an excellent job of keeping it in. This is Alec Nikolai behind the net. Tripped down is a Penn State player trying to go backhand for the goal. Looked to be Volpio, but could not there. Wilworth tries to keep it in. He does. Trying to bob and weave his way past a couple Nittany lines. Could not there. Puck ends up going to the Lions. Tried to rush that. They had more time than they thought, and Doherty is able to keep it in. Centering try. That's Leshevsky. Could not get the puck on his stick with control. Couldn't get a shot off. He had a good opportunity there. Leshevsky behind the net to Doherty. Doherty controlling the puck at the blue line. Slap shot. Rebound try loose in front. The Nittany Lions are the ones who come out with it, and they're turning defense into offense. Odd man rush in favor of Rowan. Sandwich there and brought down to the ice. Fowler holding him down a little bit just so he couldn't get up. No fight there. That was Sidorsky. Excuse me. Sidorsky. Yes, right. Sorry, a lot of these new names. Oh, so much to handle at once. But again, Rowan had a good opportunity there. Penn State almost came back and scored, though. It has to be a little concerning.
You know, I'm not sorry about seeing Rowan on the offensive pressure. They are doing an excellent job holding their zone. Some nice, crisp passes. Not handling some of the passes very well. Once it comes to the stick, they're not able to handle it and get something going. But there were a couple of shots there where Rowan could have capitalized on a goal. But it's really a good sign to see as the game progresses. If that's going to be the kickstart, imagine what they can do offensively in this game.
And if you even saw right there defensively, Matt Morelli putting a big check on. Again, Morelli, big part defensively, also with 5 goals on the year, and one of those being on the power play. Cleared out now. Penn State controls. That's McGahee, and well, it looked like he tried to hurdle a player right there. And on ice, you can't really get much traction. Elite McGahee impressively got up there, but couldn't get over his man. And again, you could hear this crowd. Packed house here at Hollydale Ice Arena for this game. You see Rowan in the striped sweaters that we all come to know and love so much. Penn State in the navy blue and the classic white helmet with the navy blue stripe running across the center. And Morelli takes it. Seems to be a little too patient there. Penn State has to reset, and Kaz pursuing for Rowan. Swing and a miss, but Geringer is there to Quinn. To Keene, off his foot, on his stick, unable to control. Sent up, looking for Frust. And Keene's got it. Frust checks Keene. And sending it into the zone is Bogdash. Back out. And to the stick of Kaz to Riley. And to Kaz. That's Quinn. Trying to get it to Geringer, but just out of the outstretched reach. Taking it behind the cage. Rowan seems to have a very good pace to this one. We have seen Rowan with a good pace, so as Kaz puts a shot on net before getting the change. Rowan in their last game against College of the Holy Cross did have a good flow of the game, but could not get goals. If they want to beat Penn State in this one, they're going to have to keep up this offensive flow, but for sure cash in on the opportunities that they may have missed in the last one.
Gonna look to see if the forecheck plays a factor into this game, although they haven't really been much on it because they really have had a lot of good time of possession in this first half of the first period.
And again, in theory, possession time leads to goals. But again, Rowan last game had a lot of possession time and didn't necessarily pour on the goals. So it's going to be something to look out for as this game progresses, as Petty tries to clear it out of the zone, and he does. Trying to chip it forward, but couldn't get a lot on it was McDermott. This is Fowler. Kind of waited a little bit, maybe trying to throw it off. Volpio with the tip. Meyer to Nikolai. Nikolai, so quick, nimble. He's one of the smaller guys on the ice, as Nikolai is 5'6". And a shot by Alex Polis. And you always know he's bringing the fire when he winds up and shoots one of those. Couldn't get it past the goaltender, though. Taken behind the net and losing control of the puck. Volpio with a diving effort, and the arm goes up. Rowan will be on a power play once Penn State touches up the puck, and they do right there. We got our first power play on the day. And first power play of the day for either side. Rowan on the power play this season, 24.3 to Penn State's 88.5 on the power on the penalty kill.
Voigt Demeester will go to the sin bin for Penn State, 2 minutes for tripping, and the Profs will go on the power play, 24.3% on the season thus far. Penn State 88.5% on the PK.
And you know, it's so great when you stumble on your words like that. And you have Cody Decker right beside you to just pick up exactly where I messed up to clarify for everyone at home. So, again, thank you, Cody, for that.
That's why I'm here, buddy.
And back to the action. Matt Morelli. On the power play, Morelli goes as an offensive player sometimes. Not on this shift. And he definitely goes as an offensive player on the kill. But to have a defenseman who's very good at scoring, you know, in regular 5-on-5, again, out of his 5 goals, only 1 has come on the power play. But to have a sharp-shooting defender is definitely a plus for Coach Clawfield and company with the Profs. And that is Doherty now. To Leshevsky at the point, back to Doherty. Doherty weaves his way past someone, left his ankles at the blue line. And that one is poke checked out, and Rowan will have to reset. And that's to the stick of Morelli. Morelli to McGahee, and a little miscommunication there as they're unable to keep the puck. But McGahee ultimately gets it back and sends it to Morelli as Morelli brings it into the zone and passes it to Nikolai, but it was poked away. Nikolai could not get an opportunity. Nikolai brings it back. Rowan changes a couple men. Nikolai may be looking for the stop and go here. Rowan not getting too much going on the power play. Good poke check by Kaz, and they may have an odd man rush. That is Quigley taking it up. Charles Quigley shoots, but it is deflected away. Gets it, centering try. If someone was there, you gotta think a goal might have been imminent, but a good shot definitely would have taken place. However, though, no one was there as Quigley tries to throw it on net, swings and misses. Meyer sending it down low to Nikolai. And power play is over. Rowan will have to reset, get back to the 5-on-5 action. Sharp angle try from the side of the net, and it is blocked away. Whistle blows. We're going to see what that's all about.
That came off its horns on the play, which is why play was stopped. And really for Rowan on that power play, okay. They had some possession, but really they had allowed 2 possible shorthanded chances for Penn State. Definitely something you don't want to do. And I thought even strength, as much as possession as they've had and controlled really the offensive flow of this game, kind of a disappointing effort on that power play.
And again, we're more than halfway through this first period. There's 9:14 left. And we continue to talk about kind of the weird, awkward flow Rowan has. It's good. It's positive. And it's kind of looking eerily similar to the Holy Cross game where they had opportunities, but like Quigley centering try, someone's not there, or they can't, like Leshevsky, they can't get their stick on the puck cleanly. And everything's there, but it's just not 100% there. And because of that, it looks like they might be missing some good shot opportunities, which could lead to rebounds or even better, lead to goals.
They definitely look faster than the last game, and that's what's going to be beneficial for them. As these Penn State players may be a little bit bigger, Rowan using their speed to their advantage and getting some of these wins this season, it's going to be key to their success, and it's going to have to be a key for them to win today.
And again, Penn State might have some of the road legs, as they say, coming off the Rider game yesterday, again winning in overtime. So that game being a little extended, Rowan not playing Maryland just like they were supposed to. You got to think Rowan may have been tired as a shot there goes out of play, as they would have had to take the long drive to Maryland, the long drive home, and then come back for this one. But Rowan maybe helping their fatigue out, or maybe their lack thereof, I should say, by not having to play that game.
And we were looking to take the ride as well, but unfortunately, we only get to cover 2/3 of our duties that we had scheduled this weekend.
Oh, and Nikolai gets checked down hard to the ice, and you gotta like what you see from Nikolai, as Polis gets a shot off while in between a couple of sticks, and a pretty good one. Like I was saying with Nikolai, you gotta like what you're seeing. Again, he's 5'6". He's by far the smallest kid on the team. I mean, some people might give him a run for their money, like Drew Dolan and Ryan Trudell, 5'7" and 5'8" respectively. But he does take a lot of hits, and especially against this Penn State team that's big, they like to play physical. He takes hits, but you got to love what you see. He gets right back up and continues with the play.
I think that's a lot of these players. They stick with the plays, and really offensively, that's the key to Rowan's success. You're not out of a play unless you totally gets out of your zone. They're able to stay with the plays.
And that was Doherty trying to center it, but no one was there. And the arm goes up, and icing will be called, and the puck will go back to Rowan's offensive zone. If they win the faceoff, it will continue to be in there like it has been for a majority of this first period.
Looking back to last season, Penn State, I remember, had an 8-2 victory over the Profs at Penn State. That's the one game I remember, but really this team came out as a really offensive powerhouse, catching defenses out of position, getting a lot of wins. Right now tonight, not really much showing from the offensive side of the puck.
Well, Penn State graduated 9 seniors last year.
Wow.
So that is definitely something to look forward to. Rowan will be on the penalty kill the next time they touch the puck as the arm goes up. Could have been a little holding. There going on is what I saw out of the corner of my eye, but we will get clarification on the call. McDermott, the one going to the bench.
So that's going to be a roughing penalty against Christopher McDermott. And Penn State will have their first power play opportunity of the game.
And we'll get you the numbers for the Penn State power play. 18.3%. Not great, not terrible. Rowan on the penalty kill. Second time I messed up on that today. 73.5% on the kill. And right there you saw Nikolai trying to get it down the length of the ice, but didn't get all the puck, so he could not there. And again, this is the man Rowan has to watch out for. That's Urban. And taking it now back down to Urban. Urban unselfishly dissing it back out to Frost, and that's out. And this is Alex Polish. You know he's going to try to do something, get a shot off. He does get a shot off and continues to pursue the puck. And he's showing that why he wears that A on his chest. Alternate captain, max effort guy. Putting in a max effort there and trying to sneak one past and put Rowan in the lead shorthanded. But for the next 55 seconds, Penn State will be a man up, assuming they get no goal. And Urban, it's a centering try. Out in front was Horgus. And he was right there, but pass just a little too hard. Couldn't get a stick on it, couldn't get a shot off. You see Doherty goes down to the ice, and that's Horgus now with the puck. Back to Urban. Back up to the blue line. And trying to go back to Urban. McGahee poke checks it, but Urban gets it. Cross-ice pass and out of the zone. Penn State will have to reset with 25 seconds left on the power play, that is. McGahee with an interception. Morelli corrals it, waits, makes Penn State come to him, only to send it back down the length of the ice. 6 minutes left in the period, 10 seconds left in the power play. Down ice and a good poke check by Nick Fowler. 2-1, power play over. Centering try, loose out in front. Penn State's got it. Morelli may be lucky he didn't get called for a trip there. And offsides is the call as the puck did get back into neutral ice, sent back in. Penn State touched it, offside Rowan. Successful penalty kill.
I'd say Penn State had the better power play stand out of the two teams, but Rowan doing exactly their job, able to clear twice, maybe 3 times. Penn State did have their opportunities, just unable to cash in.
Again, fundamentally, you gotta like what you're seeing from Rowan. everything going. I know we kind of tend to say this a lot in these situations, doing everything right except on the scoreboard. And the puck goes into play, and again, that's a little more dangerous today with how packed the house is here at Hollydale.
Yeah, definitely a different crowd attendance number tonight than there was last week. I'd say about half these bleachers may have been filled last week for the Holy Cross game, but you're talking about a big divisional game like this. This is definitely going to be a high intense game, and everybody wants to see it firsthand here tonight at Hollydale.
And for those of you who aren't seeing it firsthand, we are so lucky to bring it to you via the Rowan live stream on RTNCH5.com. Again, myself, Tom Snapley, and Cody Decker are here with you, along with the rest of the RTN staff, so graciously on the cameras and everything they do to make this possible. As you see a puck in the corner, Rowan doing an excellent job of not giving the puck to Penn State in their zone and stealing it back. We've seen that about 3 or 4 times. In transition, Rowan trying to set up defensively as the net comes off its horns, and you see Polis give a little push to Jake Zimmerman after the play. Kind of came into that net, and he was coming in hot.
Riley lost a pad. The net comes off its horns. Play is stopped, and a good rush there from Penn State, but a better save from Riley. I'm going to interrupt you, Thomas, as we go to the replay. There you see, crashing into the boards, number 21, Jake Zimmerman for Penn State. Riley is using his pad, as well as Nick Fowler was there in the process.
And again, we got a bunch of graphics for you guys at home. Again, we got 4 different cameras. We got our scoreboard, we got our replay, and a little bit of an adjustment, Piers, for us up here in the booth. Haven't had graphics for every game for hockey, but we're so lucky to have that as Cody Riley flashing the leather a little bit, making a nice save.
Penn State keeping the pressure on now as they have seen to sway the momentum after their power play, getting the possession in their zone, but Cody Riley is able to snag that one out of the air.
You know, as redundant as it might sound to how often we talk about him, Cody Riley really does set a tone for the team. When he makes the big save, you could see the energy in the team as he pads one away right there. And when maybe the team's not playing that well and Riley is playing well, you do see the team thinks they kind of owe it to him to play better. So Rowan really rides on the momentum of Cody Riley a lot, as they should. A very good goaltender, and if he continues to make saves like that, Rowan will be in a pretty good position tonight.
Notice, too, Cody Riley has now the C on his jersey as he has been named the captain of this team. It took Coach Coffey a little while to figure out, hey, who's going to be my captain, who's going to be my alternate captains. But Cody Riley, a true leader for this team, and definitely the team has to play with his back, thinking about him as he's back between the pipes saying, hey, we got to play well for our goaltender.
So again, congratulations to Cody Riley, as Cody Decker here says, got the C on his chest and well-deserved. And a true teammate. He's very good to RTN as well. Always gives us a nice post-game interview and is always so courteous to us. You always like to see that from the team captain.
Big Country comes up big time for RTN's content. I'm sure our views are skyrocketing with his interview.
I would say so, because I'll tell you what, it's definitely not me with the ratings as high as they are. You see Doherty taking it behind the net as he brings it up to Wilworth. Wilworth trying to get it through traffic and impressively does, as Leshevsky bringing it down. Down, using the backhand, sends it back behind the cage and centers it. That was Leshevsky going for the centering tries. That was Wilworth trying to get to him. Morelli putting on another big hit. And because of that, Penn State was called offside. Great play by Matt Morelli.
Smart play by Matt Morelli. John First was hit, and he goes offside. Definitely a smart play. Going to stop the pressure a little bit, bringing the puck back into the neutral zone. Penn State, thus far, though, this second half of the period, possession belongs to them.
And again, like we say, smart play by Matt Morelli, because if you're Rowan, are you going to out-physical the Nittany Lions? You're going to be more physical than them? Probably not. But if you make those smart plays and pick your spots to put on the checks, then you could force an offsides and kind of break up the flow a little bit. As you've mentioned, Penn State kind of controlling the puck more in the second half of the first period. You see Petty kind of losing control of it down in the near side corner. And loose out in front. And Rowan able to get there. Cody Riley was on his backside. And McEwen could not get a stick on it, and it goes down, touches the backboard. And icing is called, and we're going to bring this puck all the way back down into Rowan's defensive zone.
Good chance for Penn State, but a better save by Riley, spreading out and is able to get the blocker save. Excellent job, as you're going to see here on the replay. Puck comes out in front off the deflection, and a blocker save as Riley spreads out, and Rowan is able to clear the zone.
And if you're wondering why this puck is going outside the zone, you see a Penn State player was laid down on the ice and kind of set like a pick in basketball, put his body in front of another player. And while that could be perfectly legal, it's not while you're laying down on the ice, and it's certainly not on purpose. So because of that ensuing play, the faceoff will be taken out of Penn State's offensive zone after the icing.
That's for you non-hockey majors out there.
Yeah, exactly. For you non-hockey aficionados. That's a dictionary word of the day. But before we go back to the action, we'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors. Production support provided in part by Sconti's Italian Pizza, Glassboro. Sconti's Pizza is located at 321 Mullica Hill Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.scontis.com or call 856-881-4412. Sconti's is a proud sponsor of RTN Channel 5. Of course, we always like to thank Sconti's. You got the nice pregame meal before and during periods during the D3 game, and it's what fuels Rowan and everyone here. And we get back to the action. Swing and a miss. Polis putting on the pressure there. Bobbing and weaving, that's Meyer. There's some traffic in front of the net. Someone hit the net with something. Don't know if that was the puck, a skate, or a stick, but we heard a little ding. Kaz to Polis. Polis sending it around. Right to the skate of Nikolai. Nikolai kicking it forward, but a little too much power there. Trying to sneak it to that low corner of the net, but unable to do it there. Closing the gap was the goaltender. Rowan liked to attack from their right side of the ice, and you could tell them doing that forehand, backhand. Riley kicks the nets off the Morns, it appears. But regardless, the net comes off. No goal is scored, no shot even put on net.
Great job by Rowan. I like to see what they're doing offensively as we're going to go to the replay here. Penn State offensively. Forehand, backhand try. And Riley kicks the net off its Morns. Puck will stay here in the zone. But going back to Rowan offensively, an excellent job by them. I like to see what they're doing. Going behind the net and back and forward. And uh-oh. That's not good for Rowan.
And it looked from my view that was Stefan Horgus on the goal. We will get confirmation. And if you're Rowan, that one hurts. So it was kind of just thrown in front of the net and snuck past Riley. So after the play, Kaz went after a player of Penn State. And again, Rowan, they've done a lot of good things. And, an unlucky bounce right there. And that one hurts a little bit.
Unfortunate for Riley. He stopped about 67% of that shot, but then the other third is how it trickled right past his pad. Unfortunate there, but a good chance for Penn State getting into the slot and able to capitalize and put a goal on the board.
And now we take the face-off. 1:08 left in this first period. So Rowan doing a good job for about the first 12 minutes. And we're doing all right the rest of the way, even though Penn State seemed to control the pace of the game. They were still, they weren't playing bad by any means. So, again, a little deflating as a turnaround shot tried by Nikolai, but it was blocked away. Up to the point, that's Fowler. Fowler gets sandwiched between a couple Nittany Lions, and the puck goes into neutral ice. Again, that was Horgus on the goal, even strength goal. Rowan is down 1-0, got 30 seconds left here in the first. Rowan gets it back, centering try, and a pad save. This one's sent down. 18 seconds left. And this is Doherty now. They could potentially, and a good forecheck by the Nittany Lions, knowing Rowan may have not had a chance, but this is Nikolai. Bobbing and weaving, has control of the puck. got around the player, but great defensive awareness to stick with the play was Andrew Beck and able to poke check it out. Nikolai would have been one-on-one with the goalie, but Beck did not allow him to do that. So at the conclusion of the first period, 1-0 in favor of Penn State again. Stefan Horgus scored with 1:08 left in this period. Again, a little deflating, too early to say heartbreaking, but kind of puts a damper on Rowan's momentum for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and Penn State definitely had the possession battle in check during the second half of that first period, but they were able to capitalize on a good goal. You know, they got to the dirty area. Rowan didn't, able to get into that slot position to make that play possible. Again, Riley stopped about 67% of that shot. The other 33%, he just didn't have the puck, and it trickled right past the pad. But this is not discouraging for Rowan. You're only down 1 to this Penn State team. As we look on the replay here, Sam Meyer was hit really hard towards the end of that period, and Nikolai comes out with the puck. But again, Rowan, you're only down 1 goal. You still got 40 minutes of hockey to play. I think you've honestly played the better hockey as far as possession and taking control offensively. Penn State able to get some good transition opportunities in there. Don't get discouraged. Keep playing your game. It seems to be working. You just got to find the puck to get it in the back of the net.
And something our viewers at home should not do is think about changing the website, the channel, the URL. Don't go anywhere. This is exciting hockey, and we have second period action coming up for you right here on Rowan, Channel 5. And before we resume action here, we'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors. Production support provided in part by Seconti's Italian Pizza, Glassboro. Seconti's is located 321 Mullica Hill Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.secontis.com or call 856-881-4412. Seconti's is a proud sponsor of RTN Channel 5. While we're at it, we would like you to access the Rowan Television Network out of market anytime by visiting the Rowan Television Network YouTube channel. Enjoy your favorite shows, episodes, sports broadcasts, special events, and much more. Just go to youtube.com/RTNCH5. You can catch Cody Decker on All Access. If you like to hear the sound of my voice for whatever reason, you can catch me on the couch.
All Access Mondays 8 p.m. on campus or on YouTube for any of you students out there. And on the couch weekdays at, I just drew a blank.
8:30, I believe, right?
No.
Oh, swing and a miss.
No. You guys are on at 8. Oh, I'm sorry. All access is at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on weekdays. That's when we shoot, and that's when it will air. And then on the couch is 8 o'clock because they're opposite. 8 o'clock weekdays on campus for you students out there as well. Just tune to Channel 5 on campus.
And again, that's production director Cody Decker. You got to juggle that. You got to juggle names, rosters, stats of Rowan and Penn State as we're looking, as you see a beautiful shot right there. Rowan coming out of the locker room and going back out onto the ice. So excellent camera work overall. And only excellence is here at RTN Channel 5.
That's Lenny Schnee, who is just coming off a color call to give us that shot. Well done, Lenny. I know you can't hear me. Maybe you can. But props to you down there in the corner.
And again, we see the Rowan players warming up, trying to get some of the rust off them. As you can tell, myself and Cody Decker have yet to get the intermission rust off ourselves, stumbling over our words, forgetting the times our shows are on. Oh, man, hopefully Rowan looks better than we've sounded in these past couple minutes.
I'll tell you what, the only rust that I think came from that first period is that goal. Just that number one that's on the scoreboard. Both teams have been playing well. Rowan came out with possession in the first half of the first period, really controlled it well. Got plenty of opportunities, and they continued the opportunities throughout the period. But Penn State just able to capitalize, get the pressure, and off of a face-off, they get a transition from the neutral zone to their offensive zone, and Rowan just didn't cover the slot there, and it was a deflection. Riley covered it well, but not well enough as it skid right past his pad. 1-0 is where we stand.
And coming out for the props is their starting line. Penn State does not have the same line as when they started the game. Opting with their second line. As you see, Doherty sending it to neutral ice again. New period, which means teams switch sides, go on different sides of the ice. Rowan will be coming closer to us. See Sam Meyer blows a tire out there. And at the point, shot, and that was Meyer who deflected it out in front, but couldn't get it past the goaltender. Another shot, and that one goes wide. That was Fowler taking the shots, and this one's to Doherty, but that's blocked out in front by a Nittany Lion, Joe Balazelli. It's Balazelli now, and poke checked away, and a good one. And down the length of the ice, it'll be a foot race, and it's actually waved off. Rowan's the first one down there anyway. That was Nikolai. And sent down. Urban giving chase. Doherty sending it around the corner. And Rowan able to clear the zone. And a 3-on-3. Shot off the post! That was McGahee! So close yet so far to a goal. And Rowan almost tied it up right there. Beautiful look and a beautiful shot. But again, hockey, like many other sports, is a game of inches. And the inches went against Rowan there. With a shot deflected away by Cody Riley. And cross ice pass, just getting it out of the zone and making Penn State reset. They bring it in. And a shot, and that one goes off the post as well, it looked like. A couple calls, probably a little too close for comfort for each goaltender in goal, and that's Leshevsky one-on-one. Leshevsky, forehand, backhand, going to the forehand, loses control, stays with the play. But that one hurts to not even get a shot off. It's one thing if he makes a save, but to not get a shot off there. Unacceptable is not the word for sure, but man, it seemed like a golden opportunity that they didn't cash in on. As you see, Wilworth trying to get out in the change. Puck hits him while he's still in the zone, and offsides is called.
Knock, knock, ring, ring. They were players at both doorsteps on both sides of the ice. Literally a knock off the post for McGahee, and on the opposite side, a post shot for the Penn State goes to the wayside. Man, great offensive action to start the period. A couple of great chances for Rowan. Penn State couldn't capitalize on their lone opportunity thus far this period.
Rowan looked like they had another one, but it unfortunately goes to the wayside as Penn State with a couple nice poke checks turns defense into offense. And Rowan back on defense. This is Geringer able to get it out. And it's Kaz behind the cage. He was going for Quigley, but Quigley was in front of the net. Well, miscommunication there, but Rowan able to clear the zone as it is sent all the way in and not figuratively goes out of play, but hits the net and actually leaves the ice rink. That one's out of play.
So far this period, we've seen a couple good chances from Rowan, but, down 1-0. It's still pretty early in the game, so the opportunities were there. You need to capitalize on them, but I'm sure they will get more as the game progresses. They just got to keep the pressure going, keep the possession in your zone as you have been most of this game thus far.
So as you know, I do like to challenge some people to look for things going forward. I say that multiple times in the broadcast. Something I want to bring up, and I haven't really had time, so I'll bring it up now, is these defensemen for Rowan. As you see, good job keeping in play there, and get a shot on net was Peter Kaz. The way Penn State's going to play, the physical game, Rowan's defensemen are going to have to step up in all levels of the game, on special teams, maybe getting some shots off, maybe even fooling Penn State getting into the zone more. So on offense, and maybe take more shots from the blue line. On defense, same thing. You're the first and last line of defense, however you want to look at it. And you can't let these Penn State players overpower you. You got to step up there defensively. And like I said, on special teams, whether it's the kill or the actual power play, they're going to be huge. So, and Rowan's defensemen stepped up and play really, really well. I think that's definitely going to lead to Rowan scoring goals and a victory. But that's also not saying they don't always play well. As you see Doherty right there firing a shot in. Not a shot at the defenseman at all. I'm just saying the way I see it, I think not the key to victory, but what could be an X factor in this game is Rowan's defenseman.
We talk about the success of Matt Morelli and how he's had it early this season. That adds another dimension to Rowan's offense to know that you have defenders that can fire a slap shot, that can create a play in front in the slot. So, really, adding that other dimension of defensemen to be used as offensive players, that's going to make it all the better for you.
You see only one defenseman back for Rowan as Doherty was in a little more after he took a shot. Again, Andrew Doherty, we know he likes to take those hard shots into the zone. And now Rowan looking for Polis. One-time shot scored! Alex Polis, and a beautifully drawn up play. That is Polis' 6th goal on the season. And Hollywood Ice Arena just erupted. 15:28 left in the second. Score tied at 1.
Beautifully drawn up by Rowan's top line. Sam Meyer pokes it away on a turnover. It's 2-on-1. Meyer right to the stick of Polis. You cannot draw it up better. Excellent play by the front line. Sam Meyer, one-timer. Polis, bam, top shelf, top left 90. Rowan ties the game.
Textbook one-timer right there.
That got me excited, Thomas.
It's got to be the crowd. This excitement is palpable. Taste that, Cody. That's the excitement in the air. And back to the action. We get a little smile from our sports producer, Antimo Pirelli. He loves those little play on words, I do. As I hope a lot of you at home also enjoy. As you saw Nikolai right there take a shot, deflected up towards the net, and we'll get a face-off in Rowan's offensive zone.
Tom, are you a poet and I don't know it?
Hey, you said it. That wasn't me. Argue with you if I could, Cody. Unfortunately, I can't. And unfortunately for Rowan, after that, they look to go on the defensive as Urban with a nice pass there, but couldn't get it on the stick. It's loose. And Penn State trying to turn around shot, gets it off, and still loose, but that's Urban behind the net. Passes it, but you know what? You can't pass it through the net. And a shot did not get any of Riley or the net. And up now, that's McGahee. And a good poke check in to get it out of the way was Bogdash. Oh, pinned up against the boards. That was Morelli deep in the zone as a defenseman. Good backhand pass by Leshevsky, and he's bringing it up. Is Wilworth. Wilworth, sharp angle try to the breadbasket, frozen. Again, maybe not a high percentage shot, but a good shot. Again, we talked about peppering the goalies, and maybe the goalie's psyche might not be there after giving up that one. Not much he could do about it, but regardless, he gave up a goal. The game's tied. He might be a little anxious, so good job by Will to get a shot and give Rowan the opportunity to win the faceoff in their offensive zone.
You poke it out of the zone, you get in transition. That's probably the best you could do, especially if you're trying to make a change or if your players are trailing behind you with you and 2 defenders. Best thing you could do is just put it on net and hope for the best.
Fortunately for Rowan, they do not win the faceoff. It is taken back down the length of the ice by the Nittany Lions. But Rowan able to do what they've been doing so well today. Not allow Penn State a lot of possession time in their own offensive zone. And you saw Keene redirecting the puck and kind of almost got to the net in a weird Rowan almost stole a goal there. So Morelli, puck goes up, and Morelli retreats as he didn't know where it was. And a cross ice pass taken off the boards. That was Taylor Vincent. Vincent also someone to watch for, also with 9 goals on the season. And Penn State keeping it in the zone. And that one went to the low slot area, but Rowan able to get it and clear it out of the zone. Keene, that was Quinn, sorry. Tries to do a turnaround pass, but it was right on the stick of a Nittany Lion. This goes to Keene now. Sends it forward, well, beyond the reach of any of his players. And goes up. Again, ceiling's not too high here at Hollydale. Hits the ceiling. We have a stoppage in play, 13:05 left in the second period.
Actually hits a light as it's a little bit shaken there on the ceiling. But, you know, Rowan continues to put the pressure on. And I know Penn State had some opportunities there in transition, which they've had all game. But again, Rowan is playing smart. Rowan is playing well defensively, just well enough to stop any momentum Penn State tries to gain.
And again, Rowan committing 1 penalty in that period, while also killing off a penalty, and that's the one they killed off. And they did have a power play, and it was unsuccessful. But again, so even on the special teams, seem to be keeping their emotions in check. So far, don't want to jinx anything. But, you know, that stuff has to be said as that's loose out in front. That was McDermott trying to put it back in the corner of the net. Whistle blows. Bodies are pushed, feet are tangled up, but you know, you got to give it to this Rowan and this Penn State team. Looked like after that it was kind of just a couple love taps of respect and, you know, no words really exchanged. And see on the replay here.
Yeah, here comes the replay. Puck goes to the side of the net. McDermott is trying to get there and stuff it in, but Ehrlichman is able to corral it before the puck could skid right by him.
A good poke check in his offensive zone was Meyer, but unfortunately cannot maintain control of it. You see Fowler and Doherty giving chase for Rowan. Fowler ends up with it. As he takes it up. He kept it longer than he normally does. Polish trying to poke it up to himself. Could not right there as the puck's loose and Nikolai sends it in. Bouncing puck is taken now behind the net where Polish steals it back. Polish trying looking to center. Just throws it at the goaltender, maybe looking for Nikolai to get that as a pass and try to maybe go top shelf on him. However, Nikolai was more towards the front. Polis threw it towards the side and it's frozen up.
I'm enjoying the play of Alex Polis tonight, the alternate captain, hustling after every play, making the most out of every play. He did it before short-handed. When the puck found its way, it was clear, but he was giving chase at the puck, trying to make something happen. And right there again, making a good chase, getting the puck from behind the net, and trying to get a centering try, make a play happen for Rowan, turn it into a good opportunity.
And you saw Andrew Doherty took a shot. It was blocked, but he did not allow Penn State to take it out of the zone as it stays here, and that's a shot by Nick Fowler. Backhand try for Nikolai, but then turns around. Probably the smarter play right there to turn around, get control of the puck, and, you know, actually look at his target and shoot. However, could not get it in a low percentage area. And as you see right there, his only play was really upper left 90, and he really had to essentially hit it on a dime. Couldn't do it there, can't really blame him, but a good opportunity by Rowan, keeping the play alive and then generating a good shot like that.
You essentially see many players usually just try and flick that up on a backhand, but Nikolai had the time and space to turn around and get a nice forehand, try and sling it past Ehrlichman. Unable to do so, but a much better effort and a higher percentage shot.
If you saw, Robert Wilworth just took a sharp angled shot. Again, not a high percentage shot, but I kind of like the aggressiveness from Rowan. Maybe we've criticized them a little bit this season, saying they have waited too much and they've done one too many passes. I like the aggressiveness. You know, not every shot has to be that Alex Polish shot you scored a goal on. You know, some again, like what happened to Cody Riley, if you shoot a lot, good things could happen. So, again, you saw there Wilworth on the sharp angle, and he was not frozen too, so they could have easily got the rebound. But again, that's in theory, and that's why the games aren't played on paper.
I feel the aggressiveness is what's gonna make the difference for Rowan during the season going forward.
And that puck, Riley tried to catch it but couldn't. Was up in the air, was loose. Rowan not allowing it to go in the back of the net, but Penn State maintains control of the puck. So you bring him down in the far side corner behind the cage to you, near side corner, centering try, and that one is sent out. In front of the net was Jake O'Donnell trying to get it past, and that's Leshevsky. Leshevsky sending it to McGahee. Too many Nittany lines there for Rowan to get something going and bringing it in. Looks like it's Morelli. Morelli behind the net. Such a good offensive player, and he's a defender. And a shot, right into the bread basket. And that is saved, but again, another good shot right there. You had an open lane at the net. You know, maybe not what you always want. You want it to be deflected so the goaltender can't keep track of it the whole time. But at the same time, you have a little more space to work with. Good shot by Rowan, just couldn't get it past the goaltender.
Excellent play by Morelli. As long as someone is covering that defensive side in case the play turns over to the other side of the ice, that's fine. It's an aggressive play by Morelli to go behind the net, look for some options, and try and create an opportunity. Kudos to Morelli on that play.
And Penn State creeping, and that one does not get past the net. And there was a scrum there. There was a lot of bodies, but it looked like Rowan was down. Penn State had an opportunity, but could not get it. Again, it is a 1-1 game. There's 9:20 left. We're in the second period. Myself, Thompson Apley, and Cody Decker on the call. Rowan in the stripes that we love. And Penn State in the navy blue. They have the white helmets. And again, like you said with Morelli, being able to aggressively go in, it's like man-to-man basketball. Someone blows their assignment, another one picks him up. Not that Morelli blew assignment, he was aggressive. Rowan very aware of that. Someone picked up his assignment, and it worked, again, in all aspects besides a goal. But nevertheless, I like the aggressive play. They're going to keep Penn State maybe on their heels a little more. Maybe they'll be a little more reluctant to go after the defenders at the blue line because they think they're going to come in, which would create a better opportunity and shot opportunities for Rowan.
That's the thing I love from Morelli, especially seeing how successful he's been, especially towards the beginning of the season, where he was able to get some shots at the point, but he would also come in and sneak in towards the wing, kind of come into the slot a little bit, maybe stay out at that wing, and fire a shot and get a couple goals, get some assists, make plays happen. I enjoy Morelli as a defenseman and having that ability to try and make an offensive play.
You can't ignore his goal-scoring ability. Again, I think he kind of likes being in the slot more than he likes being at the blue line. And sent up, just outstretched reach. This is Geringer now, and he bobs and weaves his way past someone. A little toe drag right there, but unable to keep his footing. Up and down the length of the ice. Little sharp angle try. Riley pad save. Behind the net, not a lot of motion going on as the puck stops moving as well. And back into neutral ice. This is taken now by Foth. Back down to Doherty. Penn State changes. Rowan maybe trying to catch him off guard. This goes to Keene. Keene does touch it. This enables Rowan to change. And that was McEwen to Petty. And this is Fowler. Couldn't get a stick on it. Turnaround try. Rowan almost got a lucky bounce there. That was McEwen on the shot. And again, not a high percentage shot. Not much you could do with that. But hey, again, why not just turn around and fire? And again, the aggressiveness forces Penn State to freeze it. And Rowan, after maybe a little sloppiness in the change there, has the puck in their offensive zone pending they win the faceoff.
McEwen able to do everything he possibly could with that bouncing puck. Gets enough of the stick on it to put a little bit onto it, allow the bouncing puck to ensue towards Ehrlichman. You know, good opportunity for what he had with it.
Polis takes the shot, and that was deflected. High rebound opportunity. Nikolai cannot try to swing in it like a baseball, as it would have been a high stick. And Cody Riley making a couple acrobatic moves out there, so limber, so flexible, and puts it to his left, and Penn State cannot get the rebound try they were looking for. 6:54 left in the second period, still knotted up at 1. Did you hear ZZ Top here at Hollydale Ice Arena during this? You know, Hollydale, they definitely for sure changed their playlist a little bit from last year. I don't know if that's by player request or maybe the taste of the fans, but you know, we'll have to maybe do some investigative reporting on that, see what the story behind that is.
RTN investigation. Music playlist at Hollydale.
I think everyone's interested, at least I am.
I think we should send the Rowan 911 crew out to investigate.
What would make this game a lot more interesting would be if someone in the remaining 6.5 minutes could get on the board, see how each team reacts, see right now how these teams are reacting. You know, Rowan's had a lot of opportunities, and you know they've cashed in on one, and the game's tied right now. But of course, it's tied, which means you're not winning. And if you do get the lead, no lead is safe in a game like this. And a little bobbing and weaving, and not going for the puck at all was number 12, John Frust. And unfortunately, I think Nick Fowler might get that penalty because he's the one who retaliated against Frust, who pushed him down to the ice, seemed to grab his face mask a little bit. And again, going to the box is Fowler.
So you're going to see here on the replay, tussle in front. It really looks like push down. Oh, it is Fowler, correct. Number 12 on number 12. Look at that. Fowler was pushed down, but he retaliated, which gives the penalty to Rowan. Penn State on the power play could prove costly for Rowan.
Again, Penn State on the power play today is 0 for 1, which makes Rowan 1 for 1 on their penalty kill. Thrown in front of the net, Rowan sending it away. Rowan did have one pretty nice shorthanded shot opportunity last time, seeing if maybe they could get an opportunity like that, maybe score a goal this time around. More important than that is just killing off the penalty. And, you know, no really signal from the goalie, from the referee. And that goal is waved off. You saw the Penn State players, they were celebrating. Referee very hesitant about making the call, comes in late, and he says no goal. So, remaining 1:32 left in this power play. And, you know, you don't really hear a lot of argument from the Penn State players and the bench. You don't really see much of a reaction out of the coach. So you want to think that was the correct call in calling a no goal. Riley freezes it right there. And again, this one, I don't like to see this chippiness. But after Frust threw Fowler down to the ice and Fowler was the recipient of the penalty, see a lot of pushing and shoving going on after this one. And again, you could tell Rowan fans are out here and they are forceful, cheering as Taylor Vincent going to the bench for the Penn State Nittany Lions, and their power play is over. So they are 0 for 2 on the power play. Rowan kind of getting a short kill there, only had to kill off 35 seconds.
Penn State is shooting themselves in the foot with that penalty. You do not want that. You just had the man up. You're trying to get this game to go in your favor, Black once again. And now Rowan, even strength 4-on-4. There's going to be a lot of momentum. Rowan can try and take it back here.
Again, you mentioned Rowan's speed earlier in the game, so we're going to see if, with the ice opening up with 4-on-4, if Rowan's going to try to use that speed. And again, like we mentioned before, we've been talking about Matt Morelli a lot, and how he's a big part of these 4-on-4s, or when Rowan's a man down and you see him out on the ice there, he's the one controlling the puck now. Centering try and a good pass, but a good poke check. And that's Urban. It's Polis fighting for possession of the puck with him. That matchup intrigues me. I'd definitely like to see that one. Urban And Polis. And Polis now with the puck, sending it around. Smarelli, 30 seconds left in the 4-on-4, then Rowan will go on a power play of their own. 3-on-2 and a shot, and that one goes wide right. Looked like he had a little bit of room to work with, just couldn't get the shot where he wanted. There's a blocker saved by Cody Riley on the other side of the ice. Rowan trying to get numbers again, but that is stolen back, and it's Penn State with the numbers now. Shot and a save, Cody Riley. Down 2-1 defenders. Offense 2 defense. He only had 1. Penn State had 2. Riley making a big save, doing what he does best. And this is Leshevsky and Wilworth, 2-on-2, and a good diving stop. That was Fourth. And that one is frozen up. You saw McGahee trying to poke at it. Wisely doesn't, though, as it was frozen up, so no pushing and shoving after the play. And again, the 4-on-4 is over, and for the next 20 seconds, Rowan will be on a power play.
Excellent play there. Penn State, number 8 defender, Robert Fourth, just laying your body out on the line. It could have turned into a possible 2-on-1 opportunity, but he lays his body out on the line and blocks it away for Rowan to try to get a good chance.
And this is definitely going to hurt the Rowan power play. It is sent down the length of the ice, and looks like Rowan might just kind of sit back and try to set up a rush, so when the 5-on-5 comes out, they're in a good position, and it seems that's exactly what they're doing. As Peter Kaz, he has the moves today. Bobbing and weaving his way past the whole team as that power play for Rowan is over, even though it only lasted 20-something seconds. It does go as a failed power play for the Profs. It's Wilworth shipping it off the sideboard and trying to get it back to himself. And that's stolen. That's Leshevsky centering try. About 6 inches in front of McGahee. It was enough for a Penn State player to get their stick on it. This is McGahee trying to keep it in again. Couldn't do it there, but slows up the rush nevertheless. Just I say that, and a shot and another save. Cody Riley going down the length of the ice, taking that shot was Josh Singley. And loose puck in center ice. No one could control it until Penn State brings it into their zone. Trying to center it. This is Singley again. Tries to throw it on net, but it's deflected, and Rowan trying to send it down the length of the ice. That's Leshevsky. Leshevsky gets it in and sends it all the way around. It's Nikolai. This is Lees. Sending it up ice. Don't have an 88 on my stat sheet. Gotta wonder whose jersey that is and what jersey malfunctions might have gone on in the Penn State locker room before this one. And a good cross-ice pass. They're leaving it no icing. Had Meyer gotten there, he could have poked one in, but that would have required some lightning-fast speed. And this is Fowler taking it now. A little back-and-forth action now. No one really getting much going. That is till Alex Polis brings it in. And a centering try, and again poked away. Different possession, same story. Trying to throw it on net in front was Nikolai. Did it successfully, but it was only the Nittany Lions who were there. Sending it up. This is Geringer trying to keep it in. Cannot. Just goes to Fowler. Fowler to Geringer. Geringer trying to put the moves on. And the arm is up. Rowan will be going on another power play. There's a minute 2 left in the second period. As you see going to the benches, Kyle Lees. Rowan getting 0 for 2 on the power play, which makes Penn State 2 for 2 on the penalty kill.
Lees called for tripping on the play, and Rowan, if they want to go into the locker room with a lot of momentum and a lot of firepower, it's to get a goal right here. Minute 2 left in the period, as you alluded to, Thomas. They don't get a goal, they go into the next period with a power play, but I'd get it right here, take the goal lead into the locker room, make your adjustments, and come out even better in the third period.
And could not corral that shot. Rowan coming out of the gate shooting figuratively and literally. This is McGahee. Cross-ice pass to Doherty. Doherty and a shot, and that was sticked away. On the delayed whistle right there. Minute 37 left 38 seconds left, excuse me, on the game clock. Rowan doing a good job keeping it in their zone. Obviously, you want the momentum of the goal going in, but again, first 58 seconds of the second period, they will have a power play if they do not score. This is Doherty to Wilworth. Cross ice pass, and not a lot on that, as it was anticipated and intercepted. 20 seconds left as Rowan finds themselves back in their defensive zone. And taking it up now, this is McGahee. McGahee, cross ice pass. That's Leshevsky. Turnaround shot. Oh, with the deflection, almost got to the net. 2 seconds left. Morelli shot fired. And in the breadbasket. And that one's frozen as Robert Wilworth after the play. And this is exactly what we talked about. He just kind of poked and make sure that puck was frozen. And after the play was pushing and shoving, I believe with Joe Bonazelli. Could be wrong there, but that's what I saw. And again, you got to hope Wilworth does not have a penalty going into the next period. And it's that pushing and shoving. It's that emotion, that high energy that he has to keep in check. Because again, Rowan will have a power play the first 58 seconds of the third period.
Yeah, Rowan is going to need to come out firing. Listen, I think they played the better game thus far as we go to the replay here. Nothing really there to show you, but what I was saying was Rowan coming into the third period, you know, they had the momentum on their side. I think, honestly, they played the better game than Penn State. I think as far as the flow of the game went, as far as everything has been going as far as I'm concerned, Penn State's getting the transition opportunities, no doubt. But Rowan is making plays defensively. It's turning into offensive chances, and that's definitely what happened with the Alex Polis goal. During this period. It came off a faceoff. They got in transition, turned the faceoff into an offensive opportunity, and Polis was able to take care of the work from there off of a nice one-timer pass from Sam Meyer. So Rowan, really, keep playing your game. You are playing your game plan, and it is working. It may not be showing on the scoreboard, but when you come out in this third period, go get that goal. It's going to make it much easier from there in the third period. Not totally easier, but there'll be a little more pressure off of you to try and get that leading goal.
And again, the scoreboard shows that it's been an evenly matched game, but that's not what the eyes tell you. The eyes tell you that Rowan's been coming out, executing their game plan more, and, you know, you don't like to nitpick because in the end it doesn't matter, but Rowan had the truer, nicer, well-drawn-out goal, while Penn State may have got a lucky bouncer. But before we go to break, we'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors. Production support provided in part by Sacanti's Italian Pizza. Glassboro Sacanti's Pizza is located at 321 Mulligan Hill Road, good old Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.sacantis.com or call 856-881-4412. Sacanti's is a proud sponsor of RTN Channel 5. And what could be the last period of action is coming up on RTN Channel 5. 1-1. Rowan has a power play going into the third period, so don't go anywhere. Stay right here on Rowan Channel 5. And we're back. Thomas DiNapoli, Cody Decker, and the rest of the RTN crew out here for what has been, my oh my, an exciting matchup. First things first, let's get a scoring recap in the first period. Spawn Horgus with 1:08 left in the first period knotted the first goal of the game, and that was the only goal of the period. Rowan ended up answering back. Alex Polis on a one-time shot scored with 15:28 left in the second period. So knotted up 1-1, and Cody, I say this a lot, all goals have been scored on the same side. It's another one of those crazy, weird instances that probably means nothing, but I feel every time I'm on play-by-play it happens. Can you attribute anything to that, and what do these teams need to do to take the lead and seal a victory?
I hope the Halloween spirits from last week are still not here in this arena. That may be what attributes to your coinky-dink, so to speak.
The quirkiness.
Yes, the quirkiness of the coinky-dink of scoring on the same side when you do play-by-play. Getting to the game, we have 20 minutes left to play. This has been an even battle on the scoreboard, but Rowan comes out here, 58 seconds left on the power play. You've been playing well to your game plan all game. It doesn't show on the scoreboard, but it shows in the last 40 minutes of play. Stick to your game plan. Be aggressive. You've been doing it all game. It's been working. Don't change the system now. Don't change something that's not broken.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Cody. And Rowan, again, trying to execute their game plan, which they've done so well today. And as you hear, the crowd might be getting into it a little more. Again, we're in the final 20 minutes play. Again, Rowan, 35 seconds left on this power play they had going into this period. See if they could get something. Willward taking a shot, and a big one, but could not find Twan. The referee seemed to be in the way of Quigley there, as he cannot get it. And is sent back out to Kaz. Sent down to Meyer. 15 seconds left. Meyer sends it up to Polis. Polis taking a slap shot, and it's deflected. And it's going to be out to Kaz. You hear Cody Riley batting his stick against the ice, warning that time is running out. And the whistle was blown before the goal, definitely. And no goal there, Rowan. An unsuccessful power play. And going to the bench is Quigley. Looks like it might be a goalie interference there. Was a reason it was blown. Rowan goes on the kill.
Quigley on the trip there is the call. So after Rowan unsuccessful on the power play, had some good things going, Penn State going to look to make more of their opportunity.
So, you know, by the book, Rowan, they're around 25% on the power play. If they get another one, again, paper says that if they stick with their percentage, they'll score. Penn State, on the other hand, their power play number is 18%, so you're right around 20. So for them, it's about 1 out of every 5 they're scoring. But regardless, Rowan goes from the power play to the kill, just like that. And icing is called on the Nittany Lions.
Great job so far on the penalty kill. Mike McGahee aggressive on the forecheck. It ate up some more time. And this icing now is going to eat up some more time as Rowan could take a chance shorthanded. They had one earlier with Polis. He was unable to connect. Let's see if maybe Rowan can win a faceoff and get a chance.
And even with Rowan losing the faceoff here, took him maybe 6 seconds for Penn State to get out of their zone and ate up 10 seconds just to get across the ice. Blows out a tire there. No arm is up. See someone down on their fanny on the ice. They get back up quickly. And throwing it across ice. Riley pushing the net off its moorings. And you see that happens a lot to Riley, and he likes to push off one side of the post to get him to the other side. And a lot of goalies do that, just unfortunately for him, he kicks it off a little more often than he probably wants to.
We've seen it a lot lately here. The Morns, I don't think, are as sturdy as they used to be. We've seen it be kicked off plenty of times in the last 2 games. So just a little interesting on the equipment here at Hollydale.
And right there, some Rowan fans' hearts could have fell into their stomach as that puck hit the back of the net. which, you know, when the puck hits the back of the net, you think, oh, you know, it went in the net, but don't worry, just hit the back of the net. But reason to worry is Penn State still has 35 seconds left on the power play. And their big gun, Urban, has the puck. He's behind the net now, centering try, backhand try. That was Francis Forney on the backhand try, but it goes right to Riley. Riley freezes it. And again, 27 seconds left on the power play for Penn State. And they're looking a little sharper on their power play this time around.
Good chance for Urban to go play it behind the net, make something happen, trying to stuff it into the left side, but Cody Riley has it well covered.
Urban and Polis on the faceoff, and Polis doing a good job to put his body in front of Urban and send it down the length of the ice to eat up time.
Definitely one of the more intriguing center matches you're going to see definitely in the MAC North, but maybe even in the MAC in general, Polis and Urban.
And again, low ceilings in Hydell playing a factor here, as you saw Peter Kaz trying to clear it, but hits the ceiling. Play will be stopped, and we'll have another faceoff. 11 seconds left on the power play for Penn State.
Polis, the leading point scorer for Rowan. Urban, also the leading point scorer respectively for his team in the Penn State Nittany Lions. So not also the play, but statistically pretty much even.
And Rowan successfully kills off that penalty, but Penn State looks like they're turning up the pressure offensively as Cody Riley saves it with a blocker. Sent down, another blocker save there. Loose out in front, but Morelli chipping it out of that low slot area and sent down, stick save Cody Riley. Set now towards the net. This is Doherty taking it now, chipping it forward, and like it may have hit the net. Trying to figure out who hit it though. If it was a Nittany line, it'll be taken out of the zone. A prof will be inside the zone. They're going to rule that Penn State was the last to touch it and it'll be taken outside Rowan's defensive zone.
Yeah, last touch number 88 stick and chipped it into the protective netting, which is why faceoff comes in the neutral zone.
And Conrad Quinn hits off him. You could have an opportunity here. Nothing doing, and a turnaround try with very impressively gets it to a point where Rowan, if someone was there, could have easily put it in. Don't blame someone why they're not there. Everyone's crashing the puck there. Not exactly a spot you want to be. It'd be a very sharp angle, as you see. Now this is Geringer with the puck. Rowan just got a shot. Almost a rebound opportunity. Sharp angle try, Geringer. Fowler tries to keep it in and does. And trying to send it back down is Rowan. Fowler keeping it in, taking it himself. One-time try for Keene. Keene holds it a little bit. Couldn't get it past the goaltender there. It's opportunities like that you don't want to say are missed opportunities because they're good. You didn't have a lot of real estate to work with, whether establishing position or even to shoot at. But if you're Rowan, you definitely like to get a goal on one of those chances where you might have to get a bounce or you might have to make a really good play. But the fact of the matter is they got in an area where they would like to score. They just couldn't execute.
When you're looking at a tie game, you just want the chances. Start getting the chances, and if you get enough of them at one time, that could open up a scoring opportunity and maybe an easy one at that.
15:05 left here in the third period. Rowan with the puck, this Quigley, and sent down into neutral ice. Where giving chase is Peter Kaz. No icing was called. Now you see Penn State very aggressively on their forecheck. Something you haven't really seen too much, but they are turning up the pressure indeed in this third period.
I think Penn State has realized that offensively Rowan has played the better game, and they are starting to use their aggressiveness and pressure to try and make something happen offensively.
This is Leshevsky halting the icing call and got a lot of power behind that, impressively. Sending it up now for McGahee. And McGahee bringing it in, trying to go 5-hole there, loose, and it's back to McGahee. And he sends it, shot, and that one was deflected. And that was Morelli on the shot, and that was a missile. And a shot, and down to the ice is McGahee. See him seem to trip over a stick and go to the ground. And again, those are those chances you were alluding to, Cody. Rowan had a couple right there.
I'm enjoying the strategy by Rowan once they get into the offensive zone, and that is work it to the back of the net, and then you see what options you have in front of you. As you go see on the replay here, centering try for Wilworth by Leszewski, but Wilworth can't get there. Penn State covers the slot well, but again, another great chance by Rowan. Again, these chances can result in a goal if they become opportune.
And offsides is called. You heard the crowd yelling for it. They ask and they shall receive. Offsides is the call.
And Penn State is kind of shooting themselves in the foot with these offsides. They've had a few already today, already called on them, and if it's going to stall any momentum, it's going to be an offside call or a penalty, possibly one or the other. Nonetheless, that is stalling the Penn State momentum to try and get anything going really offensively. They get the transition tries, but you can't get a flow working if you're offside and can't start something up.
You saw Alex Polis winning the faceoff against Urban. But Penn State brings it back down the ice, and this is Urban. Forehand, backhand, and that sneaks past the 5-hole of Cody Riley. No one really had control of that. That just seemed to be loose, taking a weird direction, and that went right through Cody Riley. I don't think he saw the puck, 'cause if he saw that, that is really uncharacteristic of Cody Riley to let that one go through. And you see his teammates consoling him after that one. That's definitely a tough one to swallow.
Another unfortunate play. You go in the replay and in the slot again. Centering try goes for number 12, John First. His 7th goal on the season, 15th point, and just unlucky again. It's another example of how Rowan did not cover the slot, and it's turned on them once again. Penn State takes a 1-goal lead.
An official word is they give Ryan Urban the goal. Again, 10th goal on the season for Mr. Urban. And again, he just seemed like he was trying to get past the Rowan defender. And the puck was just kind of gliding, and Riley must have not picked it up. And that's the difference in this game right now. So Penn State has 2 goals on 2 that, probably could have been stopped. Should have been stopped, I'm not sure, but they definitely could have been stopped.
Ideally, First would be stuffing that in the center tries, but again, it's such a weird play that Urban was just able to get the puck to slip through Riley. And again, Wiley stopping most of these shots today, but unable to stop 2 of them. That has resulted in some weird goals and maybe even some lucky ones for Penn State.
Lucky for Rowan, though. They have 12.5 minutes left to try to tie this one up and even go try to get a lead. So at least it happens where Rowan for sure does not panic yet, or should not panic yet, I should say. And again, we're even strength. Penn State up 2-1. 12:21 left in the 3rd period. You got to hope for Rowan, too. That doesn't take the energy and the pizzazz and all that's kind of flowing with them. You got to hope this doesn't take them out of it.
This game has come down to 2 plays for Penn State, and they've resulted in goals. Again, we allude to weird plays, but yet again, Penn State is having the opportunities in the slot. The 2 times Rowan doesn't cover, they result in goals. That's what the difference has been in this game, scoreboard-wise.
And Penn State doing their best Rowan impression, stealing it in their offensive zone and keeping it in. And Peter Kaz will look to go to the box. You heard some of the displeasure of the fans. The play continued down at the other side. It looks like some of the players didn't hear the whistle. Peter Kaz going to the box again. Rowan on the penalty kill today, 3 for 3, which makes Penn State 0 for 3 on the power play. And if you're Rowan, you just let up a goal that certainly you could say Penn State maybe did not earn. And now you're giving them another shot to get an insurance goal.
Definitely not where you want to be if you're Rowan down a man. You have worked it well today, but again, you're running some time off the clock where you could be having some offensive chances.
Not to say that scoring shorthanded is impossible, but it is unlikely as when it comes off its horns and you see the displeasure from Cody Riley. You're right. Something is definitely up with these nets. They seem to be very loose. Coming off very easily.
Just something I've been noticing for the past 2 games, and it's kind of interrupting the flow of the game a little bit.
And Polis and Urban again with the face-off, and Polis coming out victorious again there. But Penn State able to steal it back. Rowan trying to clear, and it goes down the length of the ice. That was Nick Fowler. And again, you're Rowan, you want to kill off this power play that Penn State has, but it also hurts because if it is successful, you, like you said, you killed off 2 minutes. Could be very valuable time.
Riley saving that one. Fowler's lucky he didn't trickle that one into his own net.
And Penn State taking it now, passing behind the cage. Up to the blue line, shot. Alex Polis with a deflection. Turns around, able to clear it into neutral ice, but right into the hand of Kyle Lees. And a centering try, puck left there. Poked by Rowan, sent down the length of the ice. Rowan will change, Penn State will also change.
So far, so good on this penalty kill that's gone 3 for 3 today. Got to keep it up if you want any shot at tying this game back up.
Staying on sides is Penn State. And the shot does not get to the net. Rowan doing a pretty good job defensively. Penn State not getting many shots off, just a lot of passing and then a lot of that. Puck going into no man's land. And no penalty called there. Doherty just laying down in front of the net, not enabling a one-time pass. Smart play, risky play. If it doesn't work, obviously we're all going to be here kicking him, but a smart play, and they could not get the puck out from underneath him. It was frozen. Excellent play by Andrew Doherty.
So you're going to see here on the replay this exact play, the puck. Doherty putting his body on the line and blocking it, and it gets stuck into him. And that causes a face-off, which runs off valuable power play time.
And Rowan had a man coming off the bench, and power play is over for Penn State. Backhand try, Alex Polis, shot, and goes behind the net from our vantage point. Looked possibly could have went in the net, but it was behind the net. No goal there, however. Penalty killed off. Rowan back to even strength and maybe trying to steal back the momentum in this one.
Fans certainly reacted as if Rowan had tied the game there. It's a great chance. You're coming off the penalty kill. You get in transition right fresh off the expired power play for Penn State. You're able to get the man back on the ice and restart and try and get a good opportunity.
Morelli, good pass to Polis. Polis taking it in. This is the line that scored today, and Alex Polis is the lone goal scorer for the Profs. This is Nikolai. He's had a couple good chances. Fowler's been ripping them from the point all game. Morelli's had his chances. Myers also had his chances. If you're Rowan, I think this is the line you're probably most confident that may score another goal. No knock on the other lines, but this line seems to be doing everything today.
Polis, Meyer, Wilworth, they've all been making plays for the Profs all season, and Meyer is the big name there. Coming on to this Division II team this year, making the presence he's had over the last couple of games. It seems that Coach Caulfield has maybe found his top line that he wants.
And a shot. Cody Riley. Not saying he wasn't ready there, but he took a good amount of shots in a little amount of time.
Had to hop right back up to try and make a play. Luckily, the shot went wide. Took a weird bounce off the boards into the protective netting.
And, again, Penn State not able to capitalize when Riley wasn't 100% ready. Maybe Rowan could use this as maybe a little bit of a momentum shift. And a turnaround shot. But again, you got to give it to Urchelman. He's doing an excellent job out there. And it goes up, and Rowan now going on the power play for the day. They are 0 for 3. And after the play, after it was already called, saw a Rowan player go down on the ice. That was McGahee who went down. But again, going to the bench for the Nittany Lions is Connor Sidorsky.
So Drosky will be sitting 7 and 8 penalty minutes on the season now. Now for Rowan, you're in your offensive zone. The offensive flow has been working to your advantage this game. I think you've been playing better than Penn State. Again, it doesn't show it on the scoreboard. Make it show on the scoreboard. Show that you're even with this team at least and tie this game right now.
And the bodies hit the floor over there down in the far side corner. But setting it up, again, you see Alex Polis coming as a defenseman on this power play unit. He does that a lot. Stays kind of towards the blue line. He does have multiple skill sets, I should say, and loves ripping that slap shot as you see him take one right there. Possibly looking for a deflection from Quigley, who's normally a defender, but is trying to battle for position in that low slot area. And Rowan now taking it, trying to get it through some traffic is Nikolai, but unable to get it through all the traffic. Could not get to the goaltender. And again, puck sitting out there in no man's land, and Rowan unable to do anything with it. What they do is get it, and fortunately they got to retreat all the way back to behind their cage. Half the power play already gone. As this is Morelli. Morelli taking it in, going past a couple players. A backhand pass after losing control of a puck. Again, got sandwiched in between a couple players, possibly looking for a call, even if he shot it. Maybe wanted that penalty shot, but no call there. This is Doherty now, 33 seconds left in the power play for Rowan. Doherty continues to take it up. Morelli cannot handle it on his stick, and back down the length of the ice where Riley will get it. And give it off to Doherty, 20 seconds left on the power play. Let's be honest, Cody, it just hasn't looked good this time around.
It looked okay during the first couple times at the beginning of the power play. And a shot there, but otherwise, 2 clearances by Penn State. It ran out a lot of time.
Yeah, the Alex Polis slab shot that he ripped, that was really the only well-manufactured shot. And Rowan, thus, being 0 for 4 today on the power play. And Penn State trying to do something here as Andrew Doherty could not glove that puck down, and that could be costly. But Rowan gets it right back, sends it down the length of the ice. Last touch by a Penn State player, so no icing is called. As Leshevsky gets a puck back, McGahee cutting towards the net. Backhand try! Brett Leshevsky scored! Looked like he was going to pass the, you know what, he fooled me. I can only imagine what Erschelman was thinking, and that's why that puck got past him. And Brett Leshevsky ties the game with 6:11 left in the third period.
We could have seen the same play we saw in the second period, Thomas, right here on the replay. A turnover right here. Leshevsky, great play. Gonna take it himself. We think pass for McGahee. No. Through the 5-hole. Leshevsky, backhand. Tie game. Rowan gets goal number 2. We're tied at 2. We've got a game once again at a stalemate.
And a little bit of snake eyes action you saw right there from Brett Leshevsky. Looking past, nope, he opts for the shot. And guess what? That ties the game as you hear the Rowan fight song in the background. And Rowan, again, 6:11 left, did not panic when they, being Penn State, got the goal with just over 13 left. And Leshevsky ties it up. Rowan probably liking the fact that they're maybe the ones who scored later. Get the momentum going. Riley has played excellent today, as well as the rest of the team. Good for Rowan. That's another line that scored. So again, getting multiple goals from multiple lines.
The clock continues to run here. Credit Rowan defensively, playing defense. I mean, it's great. You know, we attribute their offensive scheme of play, but it's been turnovers today. Poke checks, some nice checks, hip checks, body checks that have changed the pace of the game. They've changed the plays to go into their favor. They make every play an opportune play, and Leshevsky takes care of that. Great example of that right there on that play.
The clock continued to run, 15 seconds, put back on the clock, 5:56, which I think is probably the correct call. The plays like that are so hard because the referees and the linesmen may not be looking up at the clock all the time. And if it keeps going, it's hard to determine how much seconds you got to put back on. I think they make the correct call right there, so credit the referee and the linesman right there. You know, they get ripped on when they make a bad call, so I want to acknowledge them for doing what I thought was the right thing. As you see Cody Riley doing the right thing there, getting his glove on that, corralling it, keeping this at a 2-2 game.
Great save by Cody Riley, able to control his body and just snag it out of the air. That's number 88 for Penn State, the mysterious number 88. Here he comes. Turnover in the offensive zone for Penn State. Tries to go bottom right-hand corner. Riley able to snag it with a puck in front.
And that one was loose out in front, and Riley was on his front side. Lucky there for Rowan. Penn State did not get their sticks on that one. However, Penn State is keeping the pressure up as this puck remains in the zone and is cleared out. 5:10 left in this one, 2-2. We are in the third period. This is Polis, and he sends it in. Myers the one who gives chase, ends up with it. Gives it to Nikolai, was looking for a one-time shot. Too much on it, couldn't get it on his stick. And that's a one-time shot out of the air. You don't see that too often. Impressive play, but it is batted away, and that goes into the protective netting. And we have a face-off. Even though Rowan was the one who scored last, it is Penn State who's turning up the pressure and may have stolen the momentum here.
Centering pass for Josh Singley, just went wide on the shot out of the air.
And before this face-off, we'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors. Production support provided in part by Sconti's Italian Pizza, Glassboro. Sconti's Pizza is located at 321 Mullica Hill Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.scontis.com or call 856-881-4412. Sconti's is a proud sponsor of RTN Channel 5. And back to the action. This is Wilworth. And that's loose out in front. Riley left one side of the net open, but no one got there, including Profs. It was not till it went to the boards that Rowan was able to clear it down the length of the ice. Again, Penn State has really stolen back this momentum. Seem to be coming out guns a-blazing here.
You talk about a 2-minute drill in football. It seems like the 5-minute drill here for Penn State on the ice, playing very aggressive.
And again, Rowan taking a shot. Again, not able to manufacture a lot in these past 2 minutes, really. So just taking a shot from the point, taking a deep breath, and hoping they could get this offensive zone face-off win and get something going in their zone and take the lead.
Yeah, they need to get back to the game plan, the speed, the offensive flow that they once had.
And this is Doherty, and passes it to Keene, who seemed a little surprised he got that one. It was Quinn behind the cage, and looks like Quinn will also be going to the box momentarily, as that one sticked away by Doherty. Doherty touched it, but with no control, they don't call it. Geringer, the 1-2 control. So Rowan, after getting the momentum, getting the goal, tying up the game, Penn State looked to be taking the momentum. And now it seems like they're definitely taking it with Evan Keene going to the box. 3:38 left, 2-minute power play for Penn State. Penn State on the power play so far 0 for 4. But again, the numbers say they're right around 20%. So if you're Penn State, on paper, this is the time you're going to break through.
That's for all you non-math majors out there.
Including myself. That's why I always have to bring all this stuff up to, remind myself about all these numbers, because they're definitely not my strong suit. But Rowan's strong suit today has been their penalty kill. And they hope to keep it up here, as again, they are 4 for 4 on the day. Which again, Cody, is 100% for you non-math majors out there.
Very good, Thomas.
So, Penn State seemed to calm down a little bit with this one as the shot is covered up by Riley. And what I said about Penn State last power play is they did a lot of passing. And it was a lot of quick passing, but it was still a lot of passing. Seems like they're going to pass and they're taking that extra second to think. Without the men being 5-on-5, they have that luxury. So I really think Penn State's got a game plan that they're executing, and it looks like even though this power play is still young, they're executing it a lot better than they did in the beginning. And that one goes off Riley's stick, and a bad bounce could have forced that one to go into the net. Riley going to his backside, something he does very well that he makes look easy. But the goal-saving dive right there, to say the least. Doherty could not get his stick on that one, something he normally does so well. Loose out in front, and Penn State could not get their stick on it. Could have caught Riley off guard right there. But Rowan gets the puck back momentarily, that is. Keeping it here, sending it to the boards to Doherty. Doherty's just going to send it all the way down the length of the ice. 2:10 left, 31 seconds left in the power play.
I like what Penn State's doing on the power play. As soon as they get a shot in the low slot, they're able to really kind of like a stack play in basketball where you just stack up your men. They go make them split out wide. What Penn State's doing is keeping the stack kind of like a tower, sort of. Okay, you get a rebound, next play up, next player up, next player up. There's like 3 or 4 guys in there, and I think it's worked. Something could really happen here. As the Penn State coach is very, very frustrated, Mo Stromel, as the clock continued to run.
That might be about 2 seconds put back on the clock. I didn't really notice it, but again, I'm not clock watching. The referee and linesmen aren't clock watching, so this is always a sticky situation. And if they were to put, let's say, like 10 seconds back on the clock, and then Penn State scores the go-ahead goal in that time frame, or even Rowan scores in that time frame, it makes the whole game controversial, to say the least. So we're going to see what they do here. And it doesn't look like much so far. But, all right. That being said, nothing. 2-1. Power play over. But Penn State still on the rush. Cody Riley. Net comes off the Moorns. Net came off the Moorns. Rowan, 5 for 5 on the kill today. 1:32. All right, Cody. Here it comes. Are you ready? Who's going to pull their goalie first and when they're going to do it? Because it's definitely within under 2 minutes in the third that teams normally do this. It's a tie game. Is anyone going to take a chance?
Nobody's pulling the goalie. Absolutely not. I would not take that chance. I would rather take this game into overtime than try and be the man up and get the man up. One little pass that goes wrong, one little part of the play that goes wrong, defender gets it, they can just sling it down the end of the ice into the goal. It's so risky to pull your goalie in this situation. I definitely would not consider it.
Something just to throw out there, it's definitely a risky play. For sure, it's kind of like going for it on 4th down when you may not have the field position. If you're on your own 35, let's say, and you don't make it, they're already in range for the kicker to kick a game-winning field goal. Definitely high risk, high reward potential. But you don't see many teams do it, but I just wanted to throw the thought out there and see what you were thinking. I'd probably do the same here. Don't pull a goalie. Try to force overtime, because if you're going to lose, you'd rather lose on a true shot rather than a little dump into the net.
It's definitely a fair option, Thomas. But when you look at the whole scheme of things, and I'm sure you're in the moment right now, you're not thinking about the rest of the season, but when you think about this game, if you take this into overtime, each team gets a point for the rankings. They get a point for the rankings, but the winner gets 2 points for the MAC North.
And again, Rowan being first in the MAC North, definitely wanting to maintain their status as top dog. Penn State, like we said before the game, is 4th, only playing one MAC North game. And they are 1-0. And a little conversation going on between the referee and Penn State player. And you hear the crowd starting to get into it. And, it just warms your heart to see any crowd get into a nice hard-fought hockey game. And a good play by Nikolai, not letting it go past him and controlling it and bringing it up the ice and dumping it in. 1:20 left in this one. 2-2 game, Penn State and Rowan. Again, we are home at Hollydale Ice Arena. And Penn State now looks to be on the charge. Backhand try, and it is laid out in front of the net. Shot, trickles. Penn State gets another shot, and it's deflected. This is Kaz, sends it down. Nikolai wasn't looking, but ends up getting possession of it only momentarily. We are under a minute left. This is Urban. You want to watch out for him. He has 1 on the day, 9 on the season going into this. That makes it 10. And this is Nikolai. Slowly but surely, knowing he still has time, fires a shot! Blocker save. 35 seconds left in this one. See, Rowan will change a man. Penn State going on the attack, sends it in. Fowler giving chase for Rowan. He does not get there. Centering try, that's Doherty. He is there. Off the boards, out into neutral ice, 18 seconds left. This is Leszewski. He has one on the day. Sharp angle try, shot, frozen up, 13.9 seconds. Whew. I don't know about you, Cody, but my heart is for sure racing. All the action and how anything could happen. And like you said, at any point in hockey, any little misdirection or redirection of the puck can result in a goal. But the fact that you got to think if someone scores now, it might be the deciding goal. Just, again, has my heart racing, and it's good hockey.
I'm chilly in the rink, but I'm getting chills as it is here, as this game is coming down to a matter of inches. But both goalies able to make some saves. Rowan taking care of the dirty area defensively. And Penn State, Rowan got a chance in transition. You had guys up, and you got to do what you got to do there in transition. Throw it up, maybe get an opportunity.
And during this timeout, we'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors. Production support provided in part by Sconti's Italia Pizza, Glassboro. Sconti's Pizza is located at 321 Mullica Hill Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.scontis.com or call 856-881-4412. Sconti's is a proud sponsor of RTN Channel 5. So, timeout called here. Again, just under 14 seconds. And Rowan will have it in their offensive zone. But that is not to say that that is not enough time for Penn State to win the faceoff and go down the length of the ice and score one themselves. So again, Rowan doesn't have to, if they win, does not have to rush the shot. But if Penn State wins the faceoff, they could for sure bring it down the length of the ice. You hear the Star Wars music playing in the background. And I think we're all excited for the new Star Wars movie as you continue to hear it play. Coming out around Christmas time. I know I'm excited. Didn't get my tickets, but we'll just feel that one out. And Penn State smartly right there as I go off on my little tangent. Going to circle back to the game. Penn State right there. Twice in a row, really. Rowan won the faceoff, got the quick shot, froze it, and because of that, about 5 seconds has been eaten up.
I'm going to be honest, I like what Rowan's doing. Throw it at the net, 8.9. You keep running time off, there's not going to be much for a rush for Penn State.
And that, too, the goaltender might be a little nervous and might not be fundamentally positioned as well as you hear the horn go off. You know what that means, Cody. We're going to overtime hockey, 2-2. Penn State Nittany Lions here in Hollydale Ice Arena against the Rowan Profs. Again, Rowan in the striped sweaters. Penn State in the navy blue. Now NHL has gone to a 3-on-3 format for their overtime. But in the ACHA, they're sticking with the more traditional 4-on-4 hockey. 5-minute overtime period. Before that, we do have about 2 minutes to talk over what we've seen in this game. So, Cody, what have we seen?
We've seen a lot of great hockey, and I think all the fans should really appreciate this game. You look at Rowan Penn State on the card. It's really an interesting game because Penn State has been so successful in the past. While Rowan is here at home, they play very well at home. They are 2-2 on the season here at home, but, they enjoy playing in front of their home fans. And when you get to bring a team like Penn State in to play here at Hollydale, and that being a MAC North game, it's going to be very interesting. And, both teams have brought it here tonight. Rowan, I think, has played better offensively, but Penn State has gotten the opportune chances that let them have 2 goals on the scoreboard. So, really, we've seen 2 great offensive performances. We've seen 2 great defensive performances as well. Just an all-around great game. It's going to come down to the last 5 minutes and then a shootout if need be.
And Penn State just coming off an overtime game last night. Again, they faced Ryder. Won in overtime with 2 seconds left. So you cannot discredit Penn State how they play every second.
And again, you're talking huge implications here, Thomas. Penn State ranked 4th in the first ranking period in the Southeast. Rowan sitting at 11.
So again, Rowan, this could be a big win for them to get them up in the rankings. And again, keep them as top dog in the MAC North. Rowan brings it in, and just like that, Penn State brings it out. Down the length of the ice. Again, we're staying at the side they were in the previous period. Or actually, they switch sides.
Yeah, they
for
switch.
This.
Yep.
Just like a normal period, they switch sides. There's so much going on, you kind of lose track of what's going on sometimes. As this is Meyer giving chase for the Nittany, for Rowan against player of the Nittany Lions. That was Kyle Lees. Lees and Meyer still battling. Meyer sending it out in front. Turnaround shot. Will without a shot. Nikolai almost had a rebound opportunity to score. And Nikolai sending a backhand try there, leaving it for Wilworth. Wilworth trying to kick it because someone is holding his stick. Penn State cautiously sending it down the length of the ice. Icing is called. Penn State, because icing is called, they are not allowed to change. So maybe a couple little ticky-tack things going Rowan's way.
Definitely thus far, 1:09 into the overtime period, I should say. Rowan really taking control, getting a lot of good opportunities. They've had a couple chances here, and they're putting the pressure on. We noticed how Penn State took the pressure in the third period. They really came out in the 5-minute drill and came out really firing. Rowan has taken the pressure back.
But that being said, there is still time. There's 3 minutes and 42 seconds left. Shot, Doherty, loose out in front, but quickly covered up, and Rowan will have another face-off. In their offensive zone, Doherty ripping a lot of the shots. You know, it's really hard to get a shot that's elevated on a dime, but something the Rowan defensemen haven't done is really elevate their shots too much. You got to think maybe one of those could throw the goaltender off. Maybe it could sneak by, or you could get a high deflection. But again, the risk there is if you get it too high, a high stick might be imminent. They might have the chance here. This puck was sent down the length of the ice, and it's icing. I don't know if Penn State's just playing conservative because that's what they want to do. Maybe they're playing for the shootout, but they don't look too aggressive right now. I understand it's only 1.5 minutes really into this, but
towards the regional rankings, you're only getting a point. If you win in a shootout, you still get a loss. You don't get anything for that. Maybe a point, maybe. I'm not sure. But if you win, you get the 2 points in the division. No matter how you win, it doesn't matter how much time it takes. Penn State should be playing for something here.
For sure, and again, Rowan winning in a shootout this year. Was that against Ryder?
At Ryder, yeah.
That was against Ryder. So both these teams beating Ryder. And a good job by Nikolai to reset, send it back in. So both these teams beat Ryder Rowan in a shootout. But again, in the MAC North standings, a shootout victory counts as a victory. As most people know, it's just in the Southeast ranking periods that it does not count as a victory. They look at it more as a tie. Not more as a tie, as an actual tie. There's nothing, technical about it. There's Rowan right there as Penn State start to threaten. They sent them away. And a possible 2-on-2 opportunity. Centering try just outside of the reach of Leshevsky. Leshevsky was the one who tied it in the third period. And that one goes into play. And someone, luckily for them, puts their hands up. And, he's gonna keep the puck. But that's dangerous. You see at a lot of, the replay right here goes out dangerously towards our camera. You guys don't like to see. But you see at a lot of other arenas, there's a netting on the road games. There's no netting covering the stands here at Hollydale, only netting on the north and south ends.
Yeah, so as I look at the standings, the way it is, Ryder's sitting at 3-0-2. So how that works is you get a point for an overtime or shootout loss, and you get 2 points for a win. So they have 3 wins times 2 points, that's 6, and then 2 points, 1 point for each game where they got an overtime or shootout loss. So that is where the math comes in on the MAC standings.
And again, both these teams obviously want to come out with the overtime victory. Something definitely more satisfying winning in overtime. Again, some people don't like the shootout. Don't say it's a true indication of winning. People say you don't do a three-point contest or a free throw competition in basketball. Why do you do a shootout in hockey? Whatever the reasoning for that is, that's the way it is.
It could be the point. If you look down towards tournament time, that puts you in a 1 or 2 seed, or a 3 and 4 seed, or even in the playoffs at all. So really, it's a costly point, and it may be a deciding factor come tournament time seeding.
And a shot scored. Penn State, with 2 minutes left, comes out with the victory as they all mob each other down at the near side corner. That one looked to just get past Cody Riley. And you saw Polis was skating backwards, looking to poke check it, put his body on the line, but that may have opened up a lane where Penn State was able to score. So, final score, Penn State 3, Rowan 2, and a kind of a deflating loss.
Here comes the replay, folks. In transition, a nice centering pass catches Doherty out of position, and it just skids by Riley. It's number 16 on the goal, Andrew Beck, and that's same 3 shots for Riley today. They just skid past him. 1 slight millisecond later for that shot, and Riley would have saved it. We'd be playing the rest of this overtime, or at least a little bit more. Tough loss for Rowan today. They do get a point in the MAC North. Penn State does get the 2. They will each get a point towards the Southeast rankings, but, it's a tough loss. And, I mean, you came into here, you knew you were playing a tough Penn State team, and they really gave a great effort. They really gave an exciting matchup to see. Both teams playing very, very well in this game, and it kind of stinks for Rowan. They really played as if they were the better team today. This game really was even towards the end, but Penn State does get the deciding goal and gets a key point in the MAC North that could determine things down the road.
Well, again, Rowan losing in this one 3-2. And like Cody said, a little bit of a deflating loss for Rowan also. May not keep their top spot in the MAC North. Actually, with Ryder going down yesterday, having a 1-0-2 record in the MAC North. Rowan now 2-1. Penn State now 1-1. Rowan for now keeping it, but this may be a game down the road you'll look at and say, hey, if we could have won this one, if we maybe even could have got the shootout win or in this one, would have helped us down the road. But, you just got to keep on keeping on, and on to the next one for both of these teams. There will be a tomorrow, or next week, actually, and they'll have to play on. They'll have to show up, and they'll definitely have to go out, play hard, and try to avenge this loss next week.
Yeah, coming up for Rowan next week, they will be playing at home against Ryder. That is Saturday, November 14th. Full studio, doubleheader coming up there. 8:15 puck drop for D2, 5:30 puck drop for D3, and scheduled for Sunday, November 15th, a light shoot, a game at Wagner. That is scheduled to be at the Prudential Center, so that will be exciting. A 1 p.m. puck drop, that is not tomorrow, but the following Sunday, RTN Light. And for Rowan, coming up, all MAC games from now until December 13th, when they will play at NYU, the defending national champions. 3 games against MAC South teams, 4 games against MAC North teams, and they will play Wagner twice in that span. So if you look at it, Thomas, this could be a key game going into the ranking period. This could convince the committee, as tight of a game as it was, to maybe bump Rowan up a few spots. But when you look at it, going into the meat of a MAC schedule, you had a postponement for Maryland, which will be rescheduled later, and a loss at Penn State. Not the way you want to start, but hey, they actually played really, really well today. A great overall team effort, and it could help them going along in the season, and again, to attack this great, great MAC League schedule.
So once again, Rowan falling in with a little bit of a heartbreaker. 3-2 to the Penn State Nittany Lions. And Cody Decker had a nice wrap-up for us, and, you know, I really can't say more. You said it all, Cody. So for Cody Decker and the rest of the RTN crew, I'm Tom Snapley signing off from Hollydale Ice Arena. Good night, and God bless.
This has been a presentation of the Rowan Television Network.